This conference will now be recorded.
So, hi everyone. My name is Vijay, and I'll be the one who will be teaching the API testing with rest assured and postman. So we'll wait for some time so that everyone will be joining the demo session. So we'll wait one more minute so that if anyone is joining, they can also join the meeting and understand about the course. Yeah. So now we can start it, and I'll just introduce about myself. So my name is Vijay, and I have almost 10 plus years of experience into the testing field, and into the API automation. I have almost 7 years of experience, where I'll be working with the different automation API tools along with Postman, REST assured, HTTP client, with different tools like with the different programming languages like Java, JavaScript, and Python. Hello, can you hear me? If anyone could confirm.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear.
Okay. So, so this course is something about rest assured automation with Postman as well, and we'll be doing with the Java. So we'll be covering the Java also, basics of Java, Postman, and full-fledged automation. So before going deep dive into the automation, I will be uh, trying to understand about from you, like what is your background, from where you are coming. Like you already aware of something about APA, or you're completely new to APA. Like how much experience you have in your career testing field. So I'm just trying to understand that. Then we can go into the course part. So you can start one by one and just introduce about your background and your name, like, and how much experience you have into the testing. So that for me it will be easy, like from where I should start, what things I need to cover the first.
Um, Hi Vijay, this is Bikash. Good morning.
Yeah.
So I have total 5.5 years of experience into testing, and I have been part of the Selenium Java automation, and also Postman I have used for the authentication, and also have validated few stuff. Uh, Coming to the rest assured part, I have not been a part of rest assured as in a project implementation, but yeah, I have learned by myself from YouTube videos and all. So that much, like a few clarity I have, like how to write the code, like a basic stuff basically, how to declare the rest assured, and how to implement the dot http methods. So like that, a few ideas I have. That's all, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can go one by one.
Yeah, hi Vijay. Hi all. So I have 3.11 experience, Selenium, Java, UI automation, and we used very less API automation. That also we used HTTP old methods, and Insomnia we have used. So rest assured, by seeing videos only, I have learned given and then Gherkin keywords and how to use how to give the body response and how to get the extract.
Oh, okay.
Hi Vijay, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I have 8 years of experience and into the different kind of testing for the database ETL testing, and I have experience for the API testing, but I have not done the automation. So I have used the Postman and SOAP UI for the manual API for web services testing. So going forward, I wanted to automate and learn about it.
Okay.
Hi Vijay, my name is Manjunath. So I am almost having 2 years plus of experience in manual testing. For me, API is completely new, so I don't have any experience at all.
Okay. Like others, you don't want to introduce about yourself?
Hey, myself, Master. I have 3+ years of experience in manual testing and API, basic manual API testing in Postman.
Okay. Still few members left, I guess.
Hello. Hi Vijay. Good morning. I'm Divya. I have 10 plus years of experience in testing field. And I have done the API testing manually using the Postman. So I'm new to automation. Looking forward.
Okay. So everyone introduction is done. Okay. So I'll be sharing my screen now, and I'll just give a brief about the course structure and the syllabus. So let me know if you are able to see my screen. Can you see the course syllabus?
Yeah, we can see.
So let us understand about the structure first. So what we'll be learning from uh, the day one. So we'll be learning with these models. So first on the day one we'll be learning about the web services and the APIs. Uh, when we talk about the APIs, like how the client server is behaving with the web services, how do we use the API, how the API talks with the UI part, how do we know whether this API has been triggered from the server, how it is interacting with the server. So those part will be covered in the day one, and also the differences between the APIs, the REST, and the web services. Everything will be covered on the day one. So this is the module one, which where we'll be covering it. And apart from that, so I'll be also installing the Postman. So we are here. We are going to use the Postman tool. Uh, so maybe some of you might aware of it, but for those who are not aware of it, we can install from the scratch. It's just a normal tool where you need to install and pass your APIs in the tool. So it is very easy way to use Postman nowadays, because earlier it was SOAP UI. So people used to face some challenges because of the XML files. But when you see the Postman tool, even a non-technical person can also understand the APIs part. So that is the best thing about the API. And module 2 or the day 2 will be like we'll be using the complete Postman on the day. Uh, so completely Postman, like we'll be using the parameters part, we'll be using the CRUD operations in the sense like get, post, put, delete all the requests, understanding about the Postman tool. So there is a concept of variables, global variables and environment variables. uh, and also you can create a framework, normal framework in the Postman, and by hard coding the data values, or if you're generating some input, or if you're passing some inputs, it will generate the output, and you can store the output. You can write your test cases in your Postman using JavaScript. So all those will be covered in the day 2 module. And you can also run the postman test cases from the command line. So there is a command called newman, so that plugin you need to install in your system. And once that is done, you can trigger all your test cases from the scratch, and it will execute one by one. So hardly it won't take more than 10 minutes. So Postman is something is very fast. You can see the results within a seconds. So that is about the module 2. The module 3 is something related to the Java. So how much Java is required for the API automation. So basically when we talk about Java, people will think like the development part also. But here we'll be dealing with the basics of Java, like strings, arrays, static and non-static part, and also object-oriented part, mm, constructor, collection, strings. We'll go on something about, we can discuss more about arrays, collections, strings. So these are the 3-4 topics where you will be using more into the API automation. So without that, you can't automate, or you can't write your code for automation part. So when we talk about the Java collections, so like we can use list, map, set. These 3 parts are more useful when talk about the REST assured API automation. Also, we can discuss more about the OOPS concepts, because whenever you go for any API interview, this is the main part. They will be asking you like object-oriented programming concepts. So we can discuss all the 6 object-oriented programs, and we can also have a one programming class, like how we are using abstraction, interfaces, polymorphism, encapsulation, everything. So all that will be covered in the model 5. And of course, you will be installing your tools like Eclipse, JDK, and JVM, and we can use mm, the variables part also. Anyways, the variables part will be covered in the Postman. So here there are few things like static and non-static. So that will also be covered in the Java basics part. So that is what I was saying. So these are the 3 things like hash map, array list, and linked list, and hash set also. So these are the things which are covered in the Java collections. And then we'll be moving to the exception handling. So exception is handling, like if you are facing any errors, there is someone to catch your exception. So that will be covered in the day 7. And how we are using, how do we implement this in API automation, and how do we analyze, or how do we debug the exceptions. So that also will be covered on the day 7. Coming to the day 8, we'll be having a test engine, introduction to test engine, where uh, you can automate your test cases. So purpose of test engine is something related to the test cases. You can write your test cases, you can group your test cases, you can maintain your test cases by creating a suite, test engine suite. You can add your all the test cases in the XML file and execute the bunch of test cases. And there are something called assertions in the test engine. So that assertions you can use, like you can verify the result with the expected and the actual one. Or if you are using in real time, if you are using any UI or database, you can compare both API values and the UI or database values. So that is the where assertions will be used. So in assertions also we have something called soft assertions and hard assertions. Uh, that will be discussed on the day. So if I tell you now, it will be very difficult for you to understand. So we need to go step by step, so that everything will be fall on the right place. And also one more thing is, like let's say if I'm covering exception on the day 7, there is something called exception in the rest assured. How do we use exception in the rest assured? So those things also will be covered when we are in deep diving the automation. It's not like once I teach this topic, like what are the annotations in the test engine, that means that topic is not ended here. It will be coming here whenever we develop the framework. That part will be coming again here, and again we will be discussing how we can use in the automation, how you can use in the API automation framework. So I think you are understanding what I'm saying. If you have any doubts, you can ask it. You have any doubts? Yeah, I'm assuming it is no.
So basically, Vijay, you are going to give an heads up on the Java part first, and then we'll be moving forward for the rest assured, right? How to
First, we'll
implement.
be starting about the Postman, then Java, then the API automation. To understand the API automation, first you need to be aware of Postman tool. So before you write any automation script, you need to see how the API is working in the Postman. Based on that only you can write your script. So Postman, basics of Postman, at least beginner or intermediate level, you should be able to understand that part first.
Yeah, that is fine. But also, you are including the Java whole part, right? Here.
That is very important because without Java you can't automate your scripts.
Yeah, that I understand.
Okay.
So Vijay, I have a question. Like this test ng is like it is what it is like a test suite or how? Where do we use this one?
So it is a plugin or the dependency. You can write your test cases, like let's say in terms of UI. So I don't know whether you have worked on with pure automation, but
No, I'm new to automation.
so I'll just say, like, let's say you have a test cases, multiple test cases about the products page. Let us assume that you have a products page and you want to add a product into your cart. You want to update the product and you want to verify the order details. So these are the three test cases. So you want to execute order wise. Let's say one is dependent on like create order. First the order should be created. Then you need to add the product to the cart. Then you need to verify whether the product is added to the cart or not. So these are the step by step. So then you need to pass a command called order to the test case. So it will execute order wise. It will execute sequentially. These are the annotations in the test ng where it will execute in sequential order, and also you can perform the parallel execution also using test ng. You can like also there is a concept of before and after. So before executing your test case, you need to do some actions. After executing your test case, you need to do some actions. So these are the test ng, and also assertions. There is a concept of assertions in the test ng. You can verify your value with the UI or database or API also sometimes. So you can use assertions in your test engine framework.
Okay, but where do we write this scripts in the, you're saying in the Eclipse?
You can use any tool. You can use Eclipse, IntelliJ.
Because you just told that for Java we will be installing the Eclipse IDE.
Yeah,
So
API
this
automation
test ng
also.
will be as a plugin, it will be used there.
Yeah, you just need to add a dependency or plugin. If you are using a framework level, then you need to add a dependency. If you're just using a normal Java plain project, then you need to add a plugin in your Eclipse. Eclipse provides plugins. So first you need to install the plugin in your Eclipse. Then you can start using the TestNG plugin.
Okay, okay.
So
Thank you.
since it is a basic part now we are discussing, but when we go to that module or that specific area, then we'll be digging very deeper into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what all you will be helping us to set up a local project in the local as well.
Yeah. So first you need to understand the skeleton of the API. So what are the concepts we are going to cover in the API? Then project will be developed using multiple APIs. So we have a very fake APIs or dummy APIs in the market. So you can pick any fake API and you can start develop the API automation framework. Once we understand all the concepts in API, then we'll move to framework part and we'll create one or two frameworks based on the availability.
See, why I'm telling you, because I know a little bit of API automation using this rest assured. So what problem generally I face is like whenever I'm writing any code. So for
Okay.
that, for the fake APIs, right, we are having already don't need to pass token and everything. But if
Okay.
I talk about the API which we are using our project in our organization, so there we need to pass the bearer token and everything. So I face the problem there. For example, let's suppose if I want to validate the response in the response body, if I'm validating for a specific field, there in that case, that body itself shows an error. For example, dot body, right? There is a function that we use in order to validate some response. So that is something. Would it be possible for you to pick some real API instead of a fake API to demonstrate all these things to us?
So like whatever you said, which will be covered everything in this part of course. Like it's not about the barrier token. So you might be facing the issue with barrier token. The other person might be facing the issue with authentication or OAuth or OAuth 2.
No, no,
So
no, no, no. No, I'm not facing the problem because I'm seeing the response. I
yeah,
always see the response for that API. I see the body in that. But if I talk about want to uh, test a specific field, right? In that case, there is a method, right? Body.
yes,
So
yes,
in that, using that, if I validate a specific field, then bearer token is not a problem because that I'm using header and everything, and I'm getting the response dot body. But if I talk about specifically testing a field, in that case, I'm facing that. That is the issue.
yeah.
So I request you to pick any real API instead of fake because the fake one is not that useful.
To
So
develop
that
the
is my
real
question. So would you be picking that one as well as part of this?
yeah, Shiv, 1 second. Uh, so when we talk about the real APIs, these APIs looks like a rival, but only thing is they are being developed by someone. So that is the reason we are using it. To develop an API and to do all that stuff, I think that is not covered in this course. To develop an API, you need very Tomcat access and all the server access you need to require. But trust me, like when we use the dummy APIs, you will be learning so much with this. Like whatever the rest assured things tell us, like all the methods you have, like body log, when then everything will be covered, and you can validate whatever the expectation you have. Like let's say I'm writing today one script to validate something in the JSON response, and let's say I'm validating one key in the JSON response. So I'm just writing the code and giving to you so that you can practice it with the different techniques, and then On that also, I'll be giving the assignments like get me the response of this value, get me the response of this key, this value. And the same thing you can be performed in your real-time APIs in your applications or in your company. You can do the same thing. If you're facing challenges there also, then I'm ready to help anytime. So I think we have a WhatsApp group. You can just take a screenshot and send me in the WhatsApp group. Then I'm ready to help you if you're facing any challenges over there also.
Okay. And so would it this meeting would be at the same time, right? 7 to 8 every day?
Let's see, like let me complete the syllabus part first, then we can discuss.
Yeah, sure.
So that is the day 8. We'll be covering the TestNG part, and then we'll be moving to Maven. So Maven is used for basically it is a build automation part where you can build your test cases using your the pom.xml, and you can add all the dependencies of rest assured, whatever the rest assured dependencies are required to this project. And you can create a project. And so whenever we are building our framework, so we'll create a Maven based project only, and we'll try to understand the Maven cycle and the architecture of Maven also. So this is the uh, model day 9, so where we'll be covering all these things before jumping into the API automation. So on the day 10, we'll be starting the basics of automation, like we'll be writing our basic programs. So we'll use the all the HTTP requests like get, put, delete, and there is something called patch. I think I forgot to add here, but that will also be covered. And how do we use the response and how do we print the response? And also you can see the logging part. You can see the response coming from the different APIs, what are the headers, what are the authentication part, how do you validate the response and the status code. So all this be covered on the day 9 or day 10. And when we go with the day 11, we'll be dealing with the different. So, and one more thing I just forgot to mention, like whenever we are using the rest assured automation, it is not that we are going to cover with one API. We'll try to cover at least one or two, or maybe three if possible. uh, we'll try to cover with all the three APIs or at least two APIs, so that you might be not confused. uh, like how, let's say tomorrow if you are facing challenge in your own company while executing the API automation script, so it should not be like that. Why I'm getting this error? So either you can use the APIs which I'm teaching, or you can use your real APIs also. So in that way you will be understanding and you will be making some mistakes. By that mistakes you will understand where you are going wrong. And if you're facing more challenges on that just send a screenshot into the group. Then I'll be easy. I'll be just seeing the screenshot and I'll be replying. Or else you can come to the class and next day and clear your doubts. And also we can understand about the JSON part. So JSON is something uh, where you can have your response in multiple parts, like it can be an array, it can be an object, and also it can be a simple JSON also. So there are basically three types, like you can have in a collections like arrays, then you can use collections. Earlier we discussed about it. And also you can have a plain Java object part, like normal Java JSON file. So that also we can use, and it depends on the API, like how it is giving the response. So that will be covered here. And also how do you extract the response on, how do you read the JSON file, how do you understand about the JSON format, from where it is coming, and how do you handle in the real time whenever you are using the JSON response. So basically JSON response will be a very large file. So when you look at the file, it will be on something around 1 MB, more than 1 MB. But when you automate, you just need to pass the simple JSON key. So I'll just show you the sample JSON file. this is something on JSON file it looks like. So this question will be your key, and this 12 minus 8 is something is your value. So you need to pass the question, I mean the key to your API request, and it will give you the value. So now this is an object. Till here it is an object. So inside this object you have an array. So if there is a square bracket, then it is an array. If it is a normal curly braces, then it is an object. So it is an object of an array. So these kind of all things also will be covered in our framework part. So basically JSON will be on very large file, whatever the APIs we have. So you can handle or write the code in a simple way also. So you have any doubts still here?
So module number, right? You will be covering that based on the day, right? One module in one day.
Yeah, no, it depends. Like, let's say if we are going with something authentication, it might take 1.5 day also. It depends.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, on day 12 we'll be covering this, the responses and the marking part, the complex response. So I think complex response, you can call this response as a complex. Yeah. So that part will be covering on the day 12. And day 13 again, as I said earlier, assertions and the validations. So these assertions and the validations is coming from the test ng part. So again, how do you handle the assertions? How do you validate the status code? How do you validate the JSON response? How do you validate the object of JSON response? How do you validate the arrays of JSON response? All that will be covered in the day 13. So it is like a test case. You are just writing your test case and you're saying that this value should be this. If it is correct, then your test case will pass. If it is not correct, then your test case will fail. In the report, you need to verify why it is failed. So whether it is a script issue, whether it is a test case issue, or is it a bug. So that will be covered on the day 13. Again, on day 14, it is a very small topic where you can use filters. Filters are like you can just pass your so one specific value and you can filter the response or the request from the JSON response or the JSON body. It's a very small topic, but we'll try to go deep into the API automation. And this is the last topic in the frame. I mean, before going into the framework, so authentication. So currently we have two authentication, one and two. So we can see with multiple APIs, not with single API. We can understand about the authentication, like what is client access, what is key, what is secret tokens, everything. So that will be covered on the day 15th. So we'll see how many hours it is required on the for authentication part. If it is getting completed in one day, then I'll try to use the same thing in the framework development. If we are able to complete in 2 days, then again the same thing will be used again in the framework part. Like how do we handle authentication 1 and 2? So for one, there will be different API, and auth 2 will be different APIs. We're not dealing with the same APIs for auth 1 and auth 2. And coming to the project wise, now the most important thing is understanding about the project. So why do we create a framework? What is the purpose of creating a framework? How do you manage the test cases? So the most important is managing the framework. If tomorrow, let's say you have a 1200 or 1500 or 2000 test case in your framework, how do you handle it? How do you manage it? Let's say 1000 test cases are getting failed in your regression cycle. How do you validate those kind of things? How do you fix it? Or how do you test the priority first, priority test cases? or how do you test the complex test cases first, whether it is an API or UI. How do you do that? So that part will be covered here. Since we have less number of test cases, what I'll do is I'll just create almost 20-30 test cases. Then we'll develop a base framework first, and how to understand about the framework part, about the test cases part, and how do you execute all the test cases with multiple APIs. Then we'll develop a complex test case, writing some logic, reusable functions, and so creating some utilities to the APIs, everything. So that will be the framework second part. So this is the first part for framework, basic framework, and the second part will be complex scenarios and the complex framework. So for both the framework, we'll have a extent reports reporting where you can validate like what is the why what which test case has been failed, how many times it is failed, what is the issue, or whether it is a script issue or it is a bug in the application or API. That also you can validate, and also we'll link this reports to both the frameworks as well. So this is the framework part, and also we'll not only that, I'll be giving the assignments part once we start the API automation. So I think it is the 10th on day 10. So I'll be giving some assignments on a daily and day-to-day basis. Not the APIs which I am teaching here, but I'll be giving the different APIs to practice so that you won't be confused or it won't be easy for you to complete that assignment also. You can face some challenges, and again using that APIs, you can create a multiple test cases, you can write a multiple assertions, everything. So that will be covered in the assignments part also. So this is the course about the REST assured API automation and Postman with the Java. Let me know if you have any doubts now, so I can discuss more about it.
Yeah, I do have one question. So, will you be covering the database part as well? For example, let's suppose we use put and post, right, to add the data. So the data that will be saved in database, but on the Postman, we see like 200 or 201 request, right? Response. So there is nothing to validate except the response, right? To the status code. So would it be
No,
covered like database part as well? Whatever value we are inserting in the database or updating in the database?
no. I think that is not covered in this course because we don't have any database here, and that API should be linked with the database. So that connection is not there here. But to answer your question, what we can do is we'll just try to understand from the UI part. We can take one example, or I can tell you on the real-time basis, like how do we validate the API response with the UI or the database. That steps or that logic I can tell you.
Okay.
To answer your question, like uh, see, so when you have a database, you have a multiple schemas, multiple connections in your application or in your company or your project, but that I can't
Mhm.
create here because I need some dependencies. So here you can't create that dependencies. So if you start creating that, then again this course will take 60 days or 90 days also. But
And what is the
this
duration for this course?
30-35 days.
Okay.
If required, we can take 40 days also, but let's see. We'll just try to cover. It's not like today I'm starting with the day one, tomorrow it will be day two. It's not like that. We'll go in a simple and easiest way so that everyone in the class understand about each and everything.
And your name is Vijay, right?
Yeah,
So Vijay, what would be the fee for this course?
yeah. So I think you can check with the team. So I think they will be the best one to answer you. I think it is written
Okay.
here, but you can just check with them.
And also, would it be possible for you to share the syllabus so that I can have a look once again on that, what all you are going to cover? Vijay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I'm sharing in the chat.
Okay, okay, all right.
So, anyone has any questions on the syllabus part?
And you will be covering like how to do a CI/CD pipeline for this, right?
Yeah, you can use GitHub Actions or Jenkins for the automation framework. That I'll be covering. That is only a normal part. Anyways, that I need to do it when we design the framework. So that will be covered.
Okay.
Anything else, guys? Okay. So you can check the course verification course fee with the team. I mean, they are the best persons to help you. Uh, that's it from my side. If you have any questions or anything related to the course part, you can just post in the channel group. So they are. If I am free about the syllabus part, I can answer you. Or if the course part, I think the training people will be helping you. And from the tomorrow, we'll be starting with the day one, the web services and the API, understanding about the API architecture. So let me know if you have any challenges about this course. If anything I have missed into the course, I'm ready to add. If anything you want me to cover uh, on a deeper part, then I can start and I can help you at that point in time also. Okay then.
Uh,
Thank you all.
so what's the timing, Vijay, you mentioned?
The